What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope this video finds you well. I'm sure most of you guys are already aware of this, but fall has officially landed and we could not be more excited about that because with this changing of seasons, it brings us the opportunity to catch more bass than we have all season long. And the reason for this is that this time of year, the bass tend to gather in these large feeding aggregations where they start just rallying bait fish all over the place. They're starting to really feed up and get ready for the winter time. And it gives you the opportunity to catch a whole lot of bass throughout the day, but with them feeding up, you also have the opportunity to catch some of the biggest bass you're gonna catch all season long. So what I wanna do today is go over our top 5 lures that we will absolutely not leave the house without whenever we do some fall fishing. A little disclaimer before I go into these lures, there are a bunch of lures out there that you can use to catch fish really well this time of year, but these ones I'm gonna go over are the ones we have the most confidence in and the ones you're gonna see us using on our channel the most over the next several weeks. So guys, if y'all are excited to dive into this topic with me, I would greatly appreciate it if you could leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and also make sure to stick around to the end of today's video. I'm going to be unboxing the September edition of the 6th Sense Super 6 Sack. I have no idea what's in this bag, but it sounds like there's some pretty good things in there. And the good news is that this could all be yours. We're gonna be giving this away today. And the way you're gonna be able to enter this giveaway is to make sure you are simply subscribed to the channel and then drop a comment down below saying that you want this Super 6 Sack, and we will randomly select one of the comments to win this guy. So with that being said though, let's jump right into one of our favorite lures that we will not leave the house without whenever we go fall bass fishing. And that is going to be some sort of fall topwater lure. Now when I say topwater lure, it encompasses all of them, like, you know, poppers, walkers like this, chuggers, buzzbaits, frogs. You just need some sort of topwater lure to cause some commotion on the top surface of the water. And the main reason for this is, like I mentioned, the bass really start feeding upwards, feeding heavily on shad. You'll start seeing them schooling in the backs of coves and pockets. And this is just a great way to emulate an injured bait fish and really trigger that predatory response from the largemouth bass. This lure in particular is the 6th Sense Dogma 115, and it's just a classic walk the dog style topwater lure. I've got it in the Ghost Spanish Pearl color. You want a color that's gonna be imitating those bait fish really well. So the bones, the chromes are what you're gonna be looking for whenever you're selecting a color. And as you guys can probably tell in this bait, it has been mangled quite a bit. It's had a few seasons under its belt now, and it has caught us a bunch of fish. Now I've got a couple other topwaters behind me I wanna show you guys. This is another one I like to throw in the fall. A little bit bigger profile. This is an EMA Little Stick 135, and it's more of a pencil popping style lure. This one I like a lot because it casts really far. This is probably the furthest casting topwater lure I have, which again is important whenever you're casting to schooling fish or whenever you're trying to cover a lot of water. But the difference between this one and this one is that this one, you know, spits a lot more on top of the water. It has a little bit more commotion, and I like it whenever I'm fishing around big fish because it tends to draw them up, and I've caught some really big ones on there. I mean, look at that. That bait has been mauled. And then I also talked about how whenever I'm talking about fall topwater, that it encompasses frogs. Here's another one that I really like. This is the 6th Sense Vega Frog. I've got it in a little shad color. And I'm gonna opt for a frog anytime I'm fishing in and around like heavy cover. You know, the grass is going to start dying back in the fall time, but it's still there and the fish will still use it, you know, to ambush prey or to like run shad up into them. And a lot of times, the only way you can access those fish is by a weedless topwater presentation, and this is just a perfect one to do that with. But that right there will pretty much wrap up the topwater portion of today's video. But like I said, there's a ton of great topwater options that people are gonna be using, you know, throughout this fall season all across the country that are gonna catch a lot of fish for them. So I encourage you to let me know down in the comments section what are some of your favorite topwater lures that you're gonna be throwing this fall. But let's move on to the next lure type that we will not leave the house without. And that is going to be one that drops down in the water column just a little bit. Let me get it back here. It's gonna be this guy, a jerkbait. And here are a couple of my favorites. Right here, I have the 6th Sense Provoke 106X, and then I have in this hand, the Jackal Re-Range. They're both shallow diving jerkbaits. Most of the time I'm gonna, you know, focus my attention to the more shallow water. And even in the deep water, the fish are gonna be suspended and higher up in the water column, but there's a lot of times when the bass are going to be schooling on bait fish subsurfacely that may not want to come up and get the topwater lure. Or maybe the fish are just being finicky and you have to really trigger a reaction strike. And that's where these jerk baits are really going to shine. And again, you want something that's going to have a really nice bait fish color. This is more of like a matte finish, like a bone shad. And then this one, of course, is a nice chromy, shiny bait that I'm going to use on like a sunny day, whereas I'm gonna use this on more of a cloudy day. Whenever I'm talking about jerk baits, though, I'm not just talking about hard jerk baits, I also am talking about soft plastic jerk baits. And another one of my favorites is this guy right here. This is the 6 Sense Flush. It's basically a fluke style lure, and a Zoom Super Fluke is also a really good option. What I really like about a soft plastic jerk bait in the fall is the versatility of it. You can rig this up on a weightless EWG hook. You can fish it in and around cover. You can work it, you know, high in the water column. You can work it mid column, and this guy's just gonna have that nice seductive slow fall on the pause, and then you can just, you know, really rip it like you would a hard jerk bait and cause some really awesome reaction strikes. But like I said, this is the 6 Sense Fishing Flush. If you guys haven't tried this soft plastic jerk bait option yet, I highly recommend it. This thing has caught a ton of fish for me. It's an awesome bait. Bait number 3 that we absolutely will not leave the house without this fall has gotta be a lipless crankbait. There's just so many ways that you can fish these guys, and in my opinion, there is nothing that imitates a small shad better than a lipless crankbait. And these are a couple of really nice ones. These are the two that get the most play on our channel. This is the 6 Sense Snatch 70X, and this is the 6 Sense Quake 80. These are two phenomenal lipless crankbaits. They both have a little bit different action. I tend to use the Snatch in a little bit shallower water whenever I'm fishing around grass. It seems to come through it a little bit better. But the Quake comes through grass exceptionally well, but it has a little bit harder of a thump. So you just kind of play around and just kind of see what kind of mood the fish are in. And if they're, you know, wanting a little bit less thump, go with the Snatch. If you want more thump, go with the Quake. There's a couple of great colors. This is Shad Scales, and this one here is Shad, or no, this is Chrome Shad Magic, something, Chrome Magic Shad. I don't know. Most of the paint's been knocked off of that one, as you guys can see. That one has been chewed relentlessly. The thing that's great about throwing lipless crankbaits in the fall is that you can cover a lot of water with them. You can make long casts of schooling fish, and you can just, you know, fish over shallow water, deep water, and like I said, it's got that perfect shad profile, and it's just gonna catch you a ton of fish. You definitely do not wanna go out on the lake without one of these guys tied on. Moving on to bait number 4 that you definitely will not catch us out in the water without, and I'm pretty sure most of y'all are not gonna go out in the water without, has gotta be one of the most fish-catchingest baits of all time, the chatterbait. This one in particular is the Z-Man Jackhammer chatterbait, and I've got it in a nice little shad color here. I've kind of got a little custom skirt on there. But this guy is responsible for so many fish catches for us and many anglers across the country in the fall time. You know, a lot of times we're throwing a chatterbait whenever we're fishing around vegetation, but you can literally throw this thing anywhere. It skips well underneath docks, and it's just a powerhouse bait in shallow water that you can cover a ton of water with. It's got a great vibration, a great action. You have the action of the skirt, you have the action of the trailer on there, and fish just can't resist it. Whenever you get into an area where you have, you know, fish all over the place and you're just trying to comb it with a lure, this is the bait. You know, it's less snaggy than a lipless crankbait, you know, in the grass. And this is just, it's just simply a fish catching machine, and it really shines when that water starts to cool back down. So definitely make sure you have a chatterbait in your arsenal this fall. You're gonna be catching a lot of fish on this guy. Now with this list of the top 5 lures that I will not leave the house without this fall, I'm not trying to rank any of them over the other, because I honestly feel like on any given day, you know, one of these lures could outperform the rest. But with that being said, I feel like this last lure that's about to make my list is the one that's gonna be the most responsible for fish catches all across the country this fall. And that is going to be some form of swim bait. This guy right here is gonna be responsible for a ton of fish catches. This is just a basic, you know, 6 Sense Divine 4.4 inch swim bait on a 3/8 ounce jig head. And you know, with this particular type of swim bait right here, you can rig it up so many different ways. You can throw it on a keel weighted swim bait hook. You can put it on an underspin. You can put it on an A-rig. I mean, the options are almost limitless when it comes to swim bait fishing. And then on top of that, in the category swim bait fishing, there's so many different shapes and sizes and types that are just gonna catch so many fish, you know, for us, for you, for everybody this fall season. So this, of course, is one of our favorites, just a little basic paddle tail and a jig head. But you also can't forget guys like this, you know, these hard multi-jointed swim baits. This is a 6 inch 6 Sense Trace. This is a newly released swim bait. This is, you know, a little bit bigger profile whenever you have bass feeding on bigger shad. This is a great option. It swims effortlessly through the water, and look at it, guys. It just looks like a tasty little snack. That guy is awesome. And then you have swim baits like this, you know, getting a little bit bigger. Like your big line throughs, this is a 316 Rising Sun. You've seen us get some really good fish on this guy in the summertime, but this guy's really gonna get much this fall. While we're on the topic of swim baits, and especially big swim baits, I have one more that I wanna show you guys that I plan to put a lot of work in with this fall, and that is this big guy right here. Check out this beast. This is the newly released 6 Sense Draw glide bait. This guy is 9 inches long, weighs 3.75 ounces, and really guys, it is just a work of art. I mean, look at the detail in that glide bait. Look at the paint scheme. This is the 4K gizzard color. I am in love with this new glide bait. And really, I'm in love with this guy because I got it in the mail not very long ago. I went out on my dock and gave it a few test casts and like instantly caught a 4.5 pound bass. I was not expecting that, and it was just crazy. And I've done really well on glide baits in the fall whenever I'm targeting those bigger than average size fish. And you know, this is honestly the nicest glide bait that I have in my arsenal right now. So I just have high hopes, and I have this gut feeling that I'm gonna catch one of the biggest bass in my life this fall. I don't know what it is, but I just have a good feeling about it. I think it's because I have this really nice bait now. But with that, I think that's going to wrap up the top 5 lures that I absolutely will not leave the house without this fall. I hope that this gets you excited for fall bass fishing. I hope that you are getting your tackle ready for the fall feed because it's coming. It's not exactly here yet, but there's a lot of signs of it, and it may be happening in your part of the country. I don't know. Let me know if you're catching them on shad right now, like busting on top. That just gets me fired up. I feel like maybe in the next week or so, it's gonna be on here in Arkansas. So with that being said, let's move on to the unboxing of the 6 Sense Super 6 Sack. I'm excited to see what we got this month, and I'm excited to give this away to y'all. So let's see what we got. Busted in here. It comes always in these nice little drawstring packages. They're nice, velvety, soft to the touch, and it's something you can keep your tackle in, you know, once you take it out. It's just a good storage option. So let's start with what we have here. Ooh, check that out. We've got a Speed Glide. We got a nice shad color. It's that Ghost Bone Minnow, and this is an awesome little bait. You just cast this thing out, basically just burn it back to the boat, and it has just a nice swimming action, looks like a shad. That'll definitely work whenever you get around some bait fish and some hungry bass chasing them. That's a great fall option. Next up, got ourselves a Crush 100X square bill. That is the Chartreuse Pro Blue color. This is a great bait fish imitation. Even though it's chartreuse, this is gonna work really well when you get some dirty water, and it's gonna look like a bait fish to a bass. And it's a little bit larger size crankbait, so it should catch some big ones. Next up, we have, ooh, I think so got the plastic wrap on there. The plastic wrap off. That's one of my favorite crankbaits. This is the Movement 80X, and this is in a baby bass color. And again, you know, this resembles a bait fish. You know, bass are, what's the word, cannibalistic, and they will eat the young of the year largemouths. So this guy would definitely make a great choice this fall. Looks like a bait fish, looks like a tiny little bass that a big bass would eat. And this thing's got a lot of thump. This is a really great bait in shallow water. Next up, there we go. There's another really nice crankbait. Another nice good shad color. This one's called Ghost Table Rock Shad. The Curve 55 is a nice mid-range crankbait. When you have fish that are suspended, you know, midway down in the water column, you know, when we're talking about throwing the jerkbait, you can throw a mid-depth crankbait down there to them too and get them to react to it. So that's another great bait. That's an excellent color. I've had a lot of success with that color. This exact crankbait actually, so that's a really, really good score out of the Super 6 Sack. That's 4 crankbaits down. I think we got another crankbait in here. Oh, heck yeah, this one here is going to slay. This might be the best one out of all of them. This is small in size, but it packs a big punch. You know, there's gonna be a lot of small, tiny shad that the bass are feeding on. Sometimes they get so keyed in on that small size that they won't eat anything else but that size. So it's great to have this as an option. This is a great color. It's called Wild Shad. It's that Crush 25X. It's just a small little micro crankbait, and I've caught so many bass. This bait has saved the day so many times, like on tough fishing days, and I've whipped this guy out and caught some really nice ones. I've caught some big ones on it too. So that's a great crankbait. I think that wraps up the crankbaits in the box. That was 5 crankbaits. And then you of course always get some plastics in here. Whenever you're not cranking around, there is the Stroker Craw. Great, great soft plastic, very versatile. You can rig it up on a Texas rig, throw it on the back of a jig, back of a buzz bait. This is an awesome bait. What color is that? June Bug Red. Nice dark color. I mean, I've been throwing this a ton on a buzzbait recently, and that's a bait that I also throw in the fall time. It falls into that Topwater category. So if you haven't tried a stroker crawl on the back of a buzzbait, you definitely need to. That's a good score. And then we will wrap up this unboxing, ooh, with these guys. I'm gonna take this out of the package. I love this color. A pack of 6 Sense Ned fries. This is their Ned bait. So another great bait whenever you maybe have some tough fishing days this fall. A nice finesse presentation, put that thing on a Ned head and some dirty water, or even clear water. The black works great in clear water too. That is called the Cosmic Black color, and it's just that black with that red, gold. I think there's some purple sparkle in there. Such a killer color. I love the Ned fry. You can also, if you want to make it smaller, what's great about this bait is if you want to make it smaller, you can just bite it down to however long you want it to be. And that is a great Ned presentation. And also one more thing about this bait that a lot of people don't realize whenever they're shopping is that this is actually a very high floating bait. So it'll stand up on the bottom on the Ned head and stand straight up. Looks really, really good in the water. Okay, so that is going to wrap up this month's September Super 6 Sack. I'm gonna put everything back in the bag. I think we got 7 things total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Back in the bag, just the way that we unboxed it. And this, guys, could be yours. Remember, to be entered into the Super 6 giveaway, be sure to leave a comment saying that you want this, and we will randomly pick one of y'all to win this guy. And if for some reason you are not the lucky winner of this sack, you can always sign up for the Super 6 Sack over at the 6 Sense Fishing website. Make sure to punch in the discount code CJSuper6 at checkout. You can get your first Super Sack for $10 off. It's a great deal, and we love getting these delivered to our door each and every month. But that is going to be it for today's video. I hope that y'all enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun talking about these fall fishing tactics, and that gets me really eager to get out on the water and film some awesome bass fishing videos for y'all this fall. So guys, if y'all enjoyed this video, do me a huge favor, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and we will catch you on the next one. Bye guys.